Welcome to Sinister Heroes. I'm your host, Danny Iniquitous. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, this is a channel about Dungeons and Dragons. We occasionally dip into some other ttrpgs, but that's kind of our main strength. Big thank you to our Patreon supporters. We love you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. What you do for us is amazing. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon supporter, the link is in the description, as well as the link to our good friends with Critical Failures and our gaming channel, Veldcrest. Check us out there. With that out of the way, we're going to jump into this week's video. We're talking about the new Oathbreaker Paladin. So as we've discussed in the past, this is Unearthed Arcana. This is coming out pretty recently, and again, it's talking about the Oathbreaker Paladin. If you wanted to be your edgy Death Knight kind of a character, this is one of the best aspects to do it, and one of the cleanest ways to do it, staying in one class. It's been very powerful. It's always had that love for it. It was a little double-edged as a sword previously, but now it's changed a little bit, and let's see if those changes happen to make this a little bit better. Now, we're going to read the flavor text just to kind of get into that sweet, sweet feel of what an Oathbreaker actually is. And we're going to talk about some of their tenets, because they actually have them listed out here as well. The power of a paladin's oath is so great that it holds a distorted power even when it is violated. When a paladin betrays the tenets of their oath because of corruption, pride, or thirst for power, they lose the blessings granted by their original oath, but sometimes take on a sinister blessing of the Oathbreaker in its place. Oathbreakers use fear and overwhelming power to achieve their goals. While many Oathbreakers are beyond redemption, some paladins bend this oath to achieve great and noble deeds to atone for their past evils. At the DM's discretion, a paladin of any level who violates the tenets of their oath can lose the benefits granted by their original subclass and gain the features of the Oathbreaker subclass instead. Alternatively, a paladin can choose this subclass at level 3 based on the character's backstory of falling from grace. These paladins often share the following tenets. Fear is a tool in the hands of the powerful. Strive for power at any cost. Do what must be done, but never lose sight of your goal. Now, if you're like me, that is definitely something that's making you a little thirsty right now. It's definitely hitting all the right notes. Again, I love Death Knights. I happen to love dark characters, clearly. And this definitely fits that need pretty well. But again, understand, this has to do with your backstory. So you can't be just I'm just an Oathbreaker. You have to have a story behind it. And in some games, the DMs will require you to break another oath in order to become this. Now, that is a very powerful thing. If you ever read the story of Lord Soth, what he does when he becomes an Oathbreaker Paladin is really a great vision of how that power gets distorted. I suggest you check that out. Lord Soth is definitely one of my favorite characters. He's awesome. Definitely check it out. Your first ability at level 3 is Conjure Undead. As a bonus action, you can expend one use of your channel divinity to summon a number of undead equal to half your charisma modifier rounded up. Each undead appears in an unoccupied space within 30 feet of you and is a type of your choice, skeleton or zombie. The undead under your control for 1 minute, after which they dissolve into ash. Each undead is an ally to you and your allies. In combat, the undead shares your initiative count, but takes its turn immediately after yours. It obeys your verbal commands, no action required. If you don't issue any commands, it takes a dodge action and uses its movement to avoid danger. Sorry about that, got tripped up over my words. At level 3, you gain Dreadful Aspect. Immediately after you cast Divine Smite, you can expend a use of your channel divinity to channel a burst of magical menace. Each creature of your choice within a 30-foot emanation originating from you must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the frightened condition for 1 minute. A frightened creature repeats that save at the end of its turn, ending its effect on itself on a success. Now, understand a few things here. Conjure Undead, where you can get 5. Oh, well, not 5. It's equal to a number of your charisma modifier rounded up. So you get like 2, 3 when you max out your charisma, which really doesn't seem like that great, just to only be able to summon 3, especially at later levels. But let's see if we do anything to increase that. But at level 3, gaining a couple of undead just to pop up out of nowhere, and and follow your actions is a benefit. They will take hits for you, which means your party will not take hits. They, at this level, they should have the ability to hit whatever it is you're fighting, because again, you're level 3, so it's not a huge threshold of AC you have to overcome. At this point, still very, very useful. Now, let's check out your Oathbreaker spells, because you got Hellish Rebuke, Witch Bolt. Witch Bolt is so much better now, absolutely. Definitely check it out, it's not like it was before. Crown of Madness, which I happen to like. Now, a lot of people don't use it because it takes an action and people expect it to be something else, but ultimately I happen to like Crown of Madness. Darkness, you gain Fear, you gain Summon Undead, you gain Blight, you gain Phantasmal Killer, you gain Contagion, you gain Steel Wind Strike. That's a unique one, but you know what? It kind of makes sense. Those are all pretty good spells, considering you are now adding those onto your Paladin spell list. Those really inspire some great utility. Summon Undead is always very good. Now, level 7, you gain Aura of Hate. When you, as well as any fiend or undead in your aura of protection that is an ally, hits a creature with a melee attack, that attack deals extra necrotic damage equal to your charisma modifier. That's good. That's adding, and that's a passive. That is a passive. And that's added to you. So you will very quickly, if you invest your stat points, or maybe you do roll for stats and you roll really well, you can get a +10 to your attack damage, which is pretty great. And again, your Paladin, so melee is your bread and butter. At level 15, you gain supernatural resistance. You gain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. You become basically a barbarian at that point with the various abilities of casting spells, because you do gain extra damage based on your charisma modifiers, so you're kind of keeping pace pretty well. And now you have those resistances and you have heavy armor, so you're really strong defensively at level 15. Again, that's level 15, but that kind of thing carries a lot of volume with it. At level 20, the capstone ability for the Oathbreaker Paladin is Dreadlord. As a bonus action, you can imbue your aura of protection with Unholy Gloom, granting the benefits below for 10 minutes or until you end them. No action required. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest. You can restore use of it by expending a 5th level spell slot. No action required. Darkness. Magical darkness fills your aura of protection. You and allies in your aura of protection can see within this magical darkness. Fear. Whenever a creature with the frightened condition starts its turn within your aura of protection, the creature takes 4d10 psychic damage. And Shadow Strike. As a bonus action, you can make a melee spell attack, shaping the gloom exuding from you into a blade that targets one creature in your aura of protection. On a hit, that attack deals necrotic damage equal to 3d10 plus your charisma modifier. This is awesome. This is really awesome. So magical darkness, depending on what you're fighting, is going to dwarf the enemy's abilities. Because you and all of your allies can see in this magical darkness, that makes you unseen attackers to anyone that cannot see in magical darkness. Which, from my last count, is people with true sight or fiends, like specifically devils, who can see into magical darkness. Those two things are the only things that are excluded from suffering disadvantage, while giving your entire party advantage, as long as they're attacking from within this magical darkness. Fear, again, my favorite condition. It's simple, it's beautiful, I love it. You have a lot of things can cause fear. Your channel divinity can evoke a fear in a 30-foot emanation from you. That is great. And then you also have magical darkness that's just automatically turning this circumstance into additional damage every round. And then Shadow Strike, you get a free bonus action where you could basically make the Necro Sword and have it deal 3d10 plus your charisma modifier and necrotic damage. So as long as you're not fighting undead, you're pretty much going to stomp things with this ability. That's why, again, it's such a strong ability, but it really feels absolutely amazing. Alright, so how does this translate to the original? I think a lot of things are very similar. Some things haven't changed that much. Your level 3 Conjure Undead and Divine and Dreadful Aspect are different. I believe previously you got a +10 to hit, and then I think you had an AoE fear or something like that. I can't remember accurately. But it wasn't as good at early levels as being able to conjure undead. If you happen to be able to have, say, a +3 in your charisma modifier, right? It's half rounded up. So that will give you 2 skeletons. At level 3, you plus 2 skeletons is a big force. The problem is, once you hit level 5, they really stop being as impactful. Any AoE will basically take them out at that point, because there's nothing to benefit them as far as HP or defensive abilities. So they do kind of go the way of the dinosaur pretty quick. But then your dreadful aspect becomes that much better. Frightening enemies cause them to have disadvantage as long as they can see you, and they cannot take any movement towards you. So if you're holding the line and you're in front of everyone else and you cast this fear, if you have melee opponents that are out of range of anything, they cannot go forward. And if they are close enough to hit something, they have disadvantage on those attack rolls. It's simple, it's straightforward, it's an awesome condition to inflict upon your enemies, but it gets better and it stays being a powerful debuff continuously throughout your game. Unless you're fighting things that are immune, which is usually undead, there's a huge amount of enemies that you can really take a lot of precedence with doing this. It's great in large swaths of enemies where you're fighting big numbers to keep their actions reduced and their hit chances diminished. It's a very powerful buff for your friends and your party members to have that. Fear is a great spell. The fear spell by itself makes the enemies drop what they're holding. That's key, because if they're fighting with weaponry, like they are fighting with spears or swords or something, they have dropped it. Understand what that means. That is very, very powerful. And that's really what makes that spell great. I don't think the new spell does that as well, but let me just double check and read through right now since I just pulled it up. Frightened creature takes a dash action, moves away from you by a saves for Paladin. Takes creature in certain spaces in your line of sight. The creature makes a wisdom saving throw. Alright. Yes. Each creature within a 30-foot cone of the fear spell must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or drop whatever it is holding and have the frightened condition during the duration. Yeah, it still does that, which still makes it valuable. Remember, casters hold arcane focuses, staves, magical items in their hands, and they are dropped. Meaning, you can use the rest of your movement, if you're close enough, to kick them away from it. They have to use their action to take the dash action and move away from you by the safest route. Working with your team, yeah, it'd be way, way, way better to go grab up those items than it would be to take up some of those actions to attack them, because you debilitate them with that. Again, that's just my love of the fear spell. Sorry to jump off of tangents and things that I love, but you do gain that benefit of having the fear condition, which is so much better for you, and it makes sense to kind of drop that off and have the skeletons be early. I wish you could do something with the skeletons later, but I guess that kind of just takes a backseat to summon undead, which you do get later. That being said, supernatural resistance is a very strong, powerful benefit. Aura of Hate, very powerful benefit. And Dreadlord, again, is a fantastic, well-designed, powerful level 20 ability. It works really well. This is probably one of the best designed subclasses I've seen in a while. But it's based on one of the best designed classes in the game, because the Paladin, in truth, is one of the best designed classes. And that's just kind of a fact. So if you've made it this far into the video, definitely let us know if you like playing Oathbreakers, if you like this version of the Oathbreakers, what you like, what you don't like. Definitely give us a like and subscribe. Definitely check us out on Patreon and support us. We are this close, very, very, very close to hitting 5,000 subscribers. It's a big milestone for us. We can't wait. Thank you so much for your support. We love you guys, and thank you for giving a spooky kid a chance.